Hey guys, welcome back to the GSL Code A Round 2. We are in, of course, the afternoon session. Right now, we've got Protoss versus Protoss number 1, Squirtle against YongHwa. The very first map is actually going to be, I don't know, Whirlwind. There it is. Okay, I got it. The map is loading. There was no map name. It was one of those secret maps that GOM has made. So, jumping into it right away, of course, I am Wolf. With me is Kaldor. And here is game number 1 of our second best of 3.
Exactly, our PvP now in the first game, bottom right of the map. We have the Startail player. It is Squirtle, the water Pokemon, Shiggy, and Wolf, go.
Yep, there he is. What, you mean go where? For YongHwa? Yep.
No, not YongHwa. He got a haircut. How can you not see that?
Oh, actually...
Top right? No. No.
I was looking at my phone to see what time it was.
No. You lost your chance. Sorry, it's over. Top right, we have the LGIM Protoss. It is YongHwa.
No haircut.
No, he doesn't have a haircut. You lost your chance. It's
I
over.
really did. Now we're not going to get another camera shot.
We'll get one in map number 2.
I'm stressing out, man. I actually really...
I gave you a chance,
at my phone
you know?
at the wrong time, and I'm really impressed with you.
I gave you a cue and everything. I was like, okay, now it's time for Wolf to shine, but no. Well,
you know, you gave me that cue. I thought you meant like go for the intro. I was like, oh, what? Because I was seeing what time it was on my phone, and in fact, it was about 1:51 at the time.
You know, I have your back with the head decisions and everything, and I'm disappointed.
Well,
we had another LGIM player, by the way, just stopping by. It was the new edition. It was Björn. Yes, guys, the former Fnatic player joined LGIM. Yeah, Björn.
Everyone's like,
everyone is freaking out. Like, what? Prime lost the player? When did that happen? No, of course it's Björn. My bad, sorry. Yeah, he joined LGIM. The news was a bit under the radar because there's so much happening these days in StarCraft 2. Oh my god.
Yeah, don't forget everything else. This is a pretty big map for Protoss vs. Protoss. We might see a late game here. Late game Protoss vs. Protoss is a scary place. It's actually what hell is like. That's what hell is like. It's late game Protoss vs. Protoss. You're there. You don't know exactly where your opponent's army is. You can't really have an observer there. You don't know how you're going to split your Colossi, and you're just there. But the battle never happens. And that's what hell is actually like. You're just sitting there wondering when the battle's going to happen. You're just stressed out. You keep making Colossi, and hell, there is no max out.
I was actually, if I would go for some kind of, I don't know, metaphor for that, I would probably say late game Protoss versus Protoss is like the first time you have sex. It's pretty messy and it's over in a flash.
Yeah, I would say so. I think that's a pretty good metaphor.
I actually thought it was an awesome metaphor.
That was pretty good, man.
If that doesn't end up on SC2 quotes, I don't know what will.
Yeah, well, I hope that's on the front page of Reddit tomorrow, because I think that sums up pretty well, man. I gotta say,
but you know what I mean, right?
Yeah.
You look at the matchup for like an eternity, and then suddenly it takes 3 seconds and the thing is over.
Yeah, it's true. But, you know, I think that, you know, my metaphor is not as cool as yours. Mine is like what happens if PvP doesn't end. That's what hell is like. Hell is where
that's true.
PvP just doesn't end. Like, you wait for that engagement forever, you're really stressed out, you're like, how do I position myself? I'm just going to keep making Colossi. It doesn't end and there's no max. So you just keep making Colossi. You have like 3,000 Colossi and you're there and you're like, is this ever going to end? Where is he? I got to fight him.
You're waiting, and then you suddenly fall asleep on your keyboard because you're like, it's never going to happen.
Yeah. You start making Void Rays eventually because you're like, well, should I make some of these? I think so. I get a mothership. Uh-oh. This, who shot first? Looks like YongHwa shot first, not Greedo in this case.
Who shot the sheriff?
Didn't shoot the sentry, man.
No.
YongHwa has a really fast expand versus Squirtle so far playing 1 base here. And he's just taking his robo with 2 gateways, being a little bit aggressive though. And this is actually going to be a problem for YongHwa. He may have to cancel his Nexus. He's hiding up at the top with his sentry. And uh-oh. Someone's in trouble, YongHwa.
Someone is in a lot of trouble. Sorry,
and
guys.
unlike that commercial that you might see on TV, it's not fun getting into trouble.
No, not here. The expansion will have to be cancelled.
Yeah, he canceled at the very last second. This pylon will have to be canceled as well, but the pressure has been successful, not only in hurting the tech of YongHwa and making him have to warp in sentries, that's gas he's not using on Immortals, but also the cancel on the Nexus is extremely painful. So really nice pressure here by Squirtle.
What we have though is a pylon in the main base of Squirtle by YongHwa. And YongHwa now has enough sentries on top of that ramp to secure this base for quite a while. The next warp in is good at the bottom right. And now suddenly Squirtle is in trouble. He did not see that sentry. And it sneaks in a pylon and there are the first 2 Zealots. Thank God for Squirtle, he is not on cooldown with his gateways and can warp in units immediately.
That was really scary. Meanwhile, while he's defending, he's not paying attention at the ramp.
Oh my God.
YongHwa takes his opportunity, breaks down here. And this is a big problem, of course, for Squirtle. Losing several units there. He's going to lose his forward pylon as well as his hold on this game. And the other thing to consider is that YongHwa actually scouted the robotic support bay tech. He knows his opponent's going to do a 1-base timing attack, so he actually responds by adding his own robotic support bay at home. And we are going to have 1-base versus 1-base on potentially our biggest map. Nope, I take it back. YongHwa decides to take a Nexus with this.
But it's actually funny that both of these players, have this small edge over their opponent, and even the pylon in the main base of Squirtle, but then just everything works out for Squirtle. He warps in units, he sees it in time, he has the warp in ready, his Immortal pops out, he can defend, can take down the pylon. So YongHwa losing a bit of this edge that he had because, well, it was just a bit unlucky there.
Yeah.
And good for Squirtle. But still, if you just look at what we see now, we have Squirtle completely resenting the idea of getting an expansion. He's like, no, I don't need that. I'll get a Warp Prism, I'll get my speed up, I'll get more gates, and I will attack you where it hurts the most. I will go right into your base.
He wants to go right into that base. And I really liked Squirtle's pressure, but he's got to be a little bit more aware of his main base. You know what could have been even worse? First of all, you said, what if he was on cooldown? What if YongHwa waited for 2 warp ins of Zealots and went with 4 Zealots? Then he wouldn't have had enough. And then he would have lost his Zealots trying to defend, lost his position in the middle of the map, and probably lost a ton of probes. So that's a risk that you don't always want to take as YongHwa, because what if he scouts the pylon, then you lost your opportunity, but this Warp Prism was already scouted and he's going to try to knock it down. It's got 2 Immortals inside.
No.
He's going to kill that Stalker though for sure.
Yep.
And the second one as well.
And he will. 1 down, 2 down. Can he get the Colossus? I doubt it.
No,
that
but
would be cool.
That was scary though. And the Warp Prism will escape. Without even Warp Prism speed, he did this.
Warp Prism speed is also an upgrade that YongHwa is currently researching.
Yeah.
Which is actually... Yep, there it is. Warp is number 1.
I mean, I'm actually wrong. He does have Warp Prism. He's got confused by the production tab. That's of course. I get confused by the production tab. It's YongHwa's production tab that has Warp Prism speed finishing up, as you just said, but...
Squirtle does it already.
Yeah, he does have it. I misspoke earlier and said that he does not.
Yeah, with those mirror matches, sometimes you really
I'm like watching this Warp Prism. I'm like, no, I'm pretty sure that has speed. That's really fast.
If that has no speed, then that would be, that speed upgrade would be, I think, slightly imbalanced.
Yeah, I see. Warp Prism speed, he just like flies through the... He spins around the Colossus a few times, the Colossus gets confused and just falls over.
You can't fungal it because it's just too fast.
Yeah. It just like flies through the fungal. Alright, here we go. He's going to actually go for a probe or 2 here. 2 shots on the probe with the Immortals.
Takes down, and ooh, not the best targeting here, but now we have it, and maybe even a sentry. No, not just quite. But still, if you just look at what we have currently, 5 workers killed, we have the same supply for both of these players. Still very even game. Expansions, the expansion was a little bit faster for YongHwa, but he has the same harvester count as his opponent. So overall, this is still a pretty even game.
Squirtle has the faster robotics support bay tech for the range upgrade for the Colossus, for the Thermal Lance. He's going to have range first, but since neither player is going to fight each other at this point, that's pretty insignificant. YongHwa's actually going for Blink. That's going to really help him shut down this Warp Prism play. If he flies in and doesn't expect Blink, he's going to lose it.
Well, here comes our Warp Prism once again in the main. So,
yeah, this is, of course, YongHwa's Warp Prism this time. And very careful play by both players with that Warp Prism. It's really important that in PvP you don't lose your Warp Prism, and this has become a staple of the matchup. Both players always flying around doing that speed Warp Prism harass, and not having those 2 Immortals on the main fight later is really risky as well. If you lose that Warp Prism, yeah, you can't harass anymore, and that's a lot of investment, but it's more so those are 2 units you want in your army.
And always doing a bit of damage here. I really like how he does it. He had killed 8 harvesters already, and at some point this will hurt.
He could actually go for the Colossus, I feel, sometimes with these. Oh, getting a little bit low down to 42 hit points this time.
Now he has to be really, really careful. But then here comes the Warp Prism for YongHwa.
Yep.
At the bottom right. But
Squirtle has too much.
Yeah. YongHwa will have Blink very soon too, and then it gets very dangerous for Squirtle. If he doesn't identify it and goes in with the Warp Prism, those Stalkers Blink, he will lose both Immortals.
Yeah. Not a ton of Stalkers on the map for YongHwa though, so he's got to make sure that if he does want to go for that Blink, he makes sure that when he shows Blink, he does it at the right moment where he kill the Warp Prism for sure.
Yeah. Squirtle now with a double Colossus production already, whereas YongHwa is just now adding his second Robotics. Here are the Stalkers. Those are enough.
He should be able to get it,
yeah.
But he waits.
Squirtle plays very cautious here.
Yeah, he's not sure if he really wants to commit.
He shouldn't anymore.
Exactly. I think this timing is over, in fact.
If he gets too greedy here with this attack, he is going to lose those Immortals. The defense of YongHwa is good.
Yeah, very solid. He lost a few probes early on, but now that the Blink there, very difficult for him to engage. He doesn't even know about the Blink, but the Stalker count is increased enough to where it gets scary. He's also got great pylon coverage, both players do.
And
make sure they see this.
The Colossus count is just so much better for Squirtle. If he plays just a defensive game, YongHwa will never be able to attack him with a better Colossus count, at least not for a long time. We have him already with a double Colossus production a little bit earlier than YongHwa, therefore also the explanation for the higher Colossus count. And he takes the third base right now. And if he just uses these units to defend, that's all that he needs to do.
Well, that was really risky trying to pick off some units with that Warp Prism. He actually just is not afraid of anything. Really. He's actually going to pick up a pylon in the main base, even with the Blink Stalkers there. He's going for it. In the main base, he's going to get it. He gets it, the Blink Stalkers, though. Take out the Warp Prism this time. You guys didn't see it, but
he just wanted too much there. He jumps into the base again, but the Stalkers are there. The Blink is good. The Warp Prism dies. The Immortals are in there. So just wanting a little bit too much. Very unfortunate here for Squirtle, of course. Good pickup by YongHwa, who goes into Dark Shrine now.
Yeah, knowing his opponent's Warp Prism is shut down, he still has his Warp Prism out on the map, which he did unload the Immortals of earlier, which you guys did see on camera. He's going to go for some nice harassment in the main. He knows there's no cannons. He's been able to see this over and over and over again with his Warp Prism flying through. And he's actually just going to warp in right on top of this base. That would not be the best choice. I think he's going to go for a little bit to the side before he does it.
Squirtle is now on the 3-base economy though, and YongHwa has just now, well, not even completed his first, his third base. Yeah, so that's getting a little bit...
That's why he made the Dark Shrine, I feel. You know, he's behind, he knows it, he's got to take a risk, and this risk may be what he can use to get himself back into this game.
Did you already check how many observers we have for Squirtle?
No, but I'll check it right now for you. In fact, he has none.
Not a single one.
And something else to consider with this DT play is he also put the Warp Prism, he put the Immortals back in the Warp Prism and new fresh ones with full hit points, so he could do a lot with this, DTs and Immortals together. That sounds like a disaster waiting to happen.
Well, DTs are being warped in now. How many Colossi do we have? This is getting out of hand.
10 to 7.
And he's still not done. He has 12 now. Squirtle has 12 Colossi.
Yeah.
That's certainly a force that I wouldn't want to miss. Wouldn't want to meet.
Well,
I would love to miss them.
I would love to miss them too. Here comes the Warp Prism, by the way. He sees the opportunity. There's a cannon. He's actually going to target down the cannon. He's smart and warping DTs. And he is smart. Targets that cannon. No detection. Goes for the Nexus with 2 DTs. And we'll actually use 3. No. Well, he does for a second. The Immortal's doing some extra damage to that Nexus as well. No Observer here, remember.
He's just now building one, but the base is gone.
And now he's going to lose a ton of units themselves to the DTs. Oh, this is tragic for Squirtle, having an awesome Colossus lead, but losing so many Stalkers already here. The Observer about to pop out, but damage is being done. Looks like he will not get that Colossus. But remember, this is a huge investment for YongHwa. He does not have very many Colossi of his own. It's 12 to 8. And losing a few Stalkers to DTs is not a big problem for him. He's going to be like, well, that's fine. You just spent so much money on DTs. You're not going to have the Colossus count I have. I don't even have to have an Observer to know that.
And Squirtle is now moving out. He has his Warp Prism in his mix, so he can warp in units at the front if need be. He has not the best bank, but he will definitely be able to warp at least a few units to the front. So right now, we have YongHwa just in position waiting for his opponent to attack, and positioning is all that this is going to be about. If those Colossi of Squirtle get a good angle around YongHwa, then the army of the LGIM player will evaporate in seconds.
Yeah, A great concave for Squirtle. I have to say, a lot of, or rather for YongHwa, a lot of Squirtle's Colossi not able to fire at first here. He pulls probes, but the Immortals are the big story here. YongHwa just has way too much.
Yeah.
Squirtle with a bad position, and that's it.
No way.
GG.
GG, a lot of Immortals and Colossi, great concave for YongHwa, and it's too much for Squirtle. Not enough meat shield at the front to tank the damage, and YongHwa takes game number 1.
Yeah, and both players with great multitasking with their Warp Prisms last game, but in the end, just the amount of Colossi that Squirtle had didn't add up when most of them weren't able to fire. The probes came off, tanked some damage, the Zealots tanked some damage. Once the Immortals came in, it was like, did Squirtle make too many Colossi? Because their footprint is so big, they couldn't quite fight. It's hard to say what really went wrong there, but I think the key is the concave.
Well, now we're heading into game number 2. We'll find out if YongHwa is able to take the series with a 2-0, and this is also underlines a little bit what we talked about earlier, because of, well, what we thought about the matchup between Squirtle and YongHwa. YongHwa just being on a roll these days, and the map has been hosted. It's one of the hidden ones. Let's find out what it is as soon as the game starts. Squirtle is in the lobby, so is YongHwa. Both players seem to be ready. Let's get things started here at the GSL Code A game. Well, Code A round 2, day 2-1.
Yes.
This is like this book code that you have to type in Amazon that you can't remember exactly. You know, they're telling you the ISBN number when you ask for the name of the book, and then you're like, wait a second, I have to write that down. What? Why?
Well, you could say
it's a 30-digit number.
You could say we're in set 2-2 of round 2, day 2-1 here at GSL Code A, 2012 Season 5 with Kaldor and Wolf
in Seoul, Mukdong.
In Seoul,
Korea.
Mukdong, Korea, in Belshir Vestige.
That's the map. And the player to the top left is, of course, for Stardale, starting with